As you know, Iran is a country that is, for me personally, very close to my heart. I've traveled there many times in previous incarnations when I was working for UNHCR. I've admired a lot the people of Iran, and I've had many engagements, especially about the fact that they have hosted Afghan refugees for decades, and that's very important. So you can imagine how much it pains me to see what is currently happening in Iran with what we can only describe as a very serious human rights crisis. And for us, it's important with the facts on the ground that we have, as you know, over 300 people killed, some 40 children. At least these are the estimates, and these are probably conservative estimates at this point in time. We had over 14,000 people being arrested. We have the possible application of the death penalty to people who have peacefully protested. It is very clear from the perspective of the High Commissioner, my perspective, to ensure that those, first of all, to make sure that the authorities refrain from using violence, that there is also a very strong call from our side to ensure that people are released. Then it is also important that there is a moratorium on the death penalty, and for the government to listen to the people and to hear what they have to say, and to engage in a reform process, because change is inevitable in this type of situations. And let's not forget, this is particularly driven by women, by girls, by young people who feel that they want to peacefully protest, and these are fundamental freedoms. So the human rights standards are incredibly important in this type of situations.
Applied to people who have demonstrated. Yeah. Thank you.
So both in the past, as I mentioned, I've had a lot of dealings with the Iranian authorities, but also ever since I took up my current position as High Commissioner. I had 2 meetings with the Iranian authorities. I offered to go to Iran. I also offered a stronger presence in Iran. We don't have an office there, but so far I haven't received a response. And sorry, the second? Yeah, and the death penalty, we have had many engagements with the Iranian authorities about the death penalty, especially about juvenile offenders. Again, we haven't received responses to our calls to put an end to it. I don't know you.
Emma, go ahead.
Thank
please.
you.
Emma,
good morning, Emma Farage.
I've been asked if you could look at the camera.
Oh,
as well.
okay. When I answer someone, I look at the cameras. Okay.
Reuters. High Commissioner, could you give your personal view on the resolution? Is it a good idea? And what does it say about the Council if it doesn't pass today?
Well, I have been very clear in my response to the accountability. First of all, accountability mechanisms are extremely important. And we have, as I mentioned, we have received multiple documents from the Iranian authorities. We have looked at them. We are not satisfied with the responses that we got. So as a result, I've called for impartial, independent, investigative processes to ensure that, indeed, we find out what actually happened. It is then for the Council to decide what type of mechanisms they establish. I mean, I mentioned to you that I have been engaging with the Iranian authorities. I've even asked to go to Iran, but I have not received a response to that.
Allegations.
Hope springs eternal. I don't know if you know that expression. I mean, you never know what happens, but so far it's been not the most forward-looking approach when it comes to the human rights mechanisms, especially, as you know, the Special Rapporteur has asked for the last 4 years to be allowed entry. He hasn't been given entry. So we can only hope that this attitude will change.
Sure, that they listen.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, it's clear, and I think you have seen it in my statement. My statement is really driven by what is happening on the ground. I mean, with children being killed, with women being beaten in the streets, with people being arrested, with lawyers not being able to do their work, with the type of situation that we see on a daily basis, with the families that are suffering as a result of not knowing where where their children are. I mean, it's clear it's a message of solidarity with the people of Iran, and we hope that it will lead to the authorities changing course on what would otherwise become even a real human rights emergency.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, High Commissioner.
Thank you.